this video, everything you wanted to know about Yerasov British Citrus. Where to find it and what it's worth. What's inside of the box? What are the specs? Are there any hidden treasures inside? What does it sound like? We'll go through all the settings, including built-in cabinet simulation. More than that, we'll check it with different cabinets. Effects loop under the microscope. A great undocumented feature you don't want to miss. Finally, does it get any close to the sound of the amp it was inspired by? Well, it's all coming up right now. Hello everyone, and today we're looking at Yerasov BC-5 guitar preamp, also called British Citrus. Produced by this Russian company, it is one of 6 preamps inspired by some famous amplifiers. British Citrus was inspired by orange amps. There isn't much of a description at the official website, but at least you can see the price. As a matter of fact, at the moment, this online store is the only place where you can get it if you're outside of Russia. Things may change though in the nearest future. Anyway, they ship worldwide, so that should not be a problem. There's a little more information at the Russian version of the website. Anyway, I believe this video will answer most of your questions. Let's begin with unboxing. Inside you'll find a fresh product catalog and a manual. Mine are in Russian, but you'll get an English version. The preamp has 2 channels with independent gain, tone and volume controls. There's a master presence and separate headphones volume. On the left there are headphones output, effects loop and main out. Input on the right and a power supply connector on the back side. It takes a standard 9V power supply with negative center. BC-5 is definitely not the lightest pedal, and the reason for that is the enclosure, which is about a half of the total weight. It is a standard 1590 pp aluminum box, and this weight is the price we pay for its durability. Today many manufacturers use this type of enclosure, and you probably already have 1 or 2 pedals of this size. It is a little bit bigger than a regular modern pedal. Now let's open it and take a look inside. Obviously, there's no place for a battery, and you will need a power supply for this preamp. If you watched my video on another Fit2 pedal VH5, you probably remember that its potentiometers looked somewhat weak and shaky. Well, there must have been an improvement, but I don't have the updated pedal, and I won't be able to show you that. My pedal is old stock, but I hope to get some new stuff soon. There are 2 boards. The lower one is common for all Fit2 models. The upper one is model specific. As you can see, there are no SMDs, it's all built on traditional components, which means it's not too hard to modify if you know what you're doing. If you don't, please don't try this at home. For this demonstration, BC-5 is connected to my cabinet simulator, and a proper power supply is important to avoid unnecessary noise. Let's begin with a clean channel. It's supposed to have Fender-like sparkling clean sound. With all tone controls down, there's no sound coming through. Let's set gain to maximum and check some different EQ settings. Let's make it a little thinner and cleaner. I now switch my bridge pickup into humbucker mode and turn gain to the maximum to demonstrate the breakup. Let's switch to the drive channel and go through different EQ settings real quick. Here's what different amounts of gain sound like. Well, that's a lot of gain. Let's play some riffs. Now I will plug into phone's output and go directly to the sound card to show you what the built-in cabinet simulation sounds like. Let's check the EQ. To give you a better feeling about the sound, let me show you what it sounds like with different guitar cabinets. In the description to this video, I'll give you a link to cabinet profiles I'm using. Let's check the effects loop. In my video on VH5 preamp, I said that in this particular case there is no difference between connecting effect pedals into the loop or using the main output and placing them after the preamp. In fact, there is some difference. First of all, the whole idea of the effects loop is to attenuate high output level of a preamp before sending it into effects units and this way prevent clipping. Even though most of modern effects pedals can easily take high input levels, there are still vintage devices and badly designed pedals like MXR Phase 90 which cannot do that. When the signal returns into the amp, it is amplified to the original level. As you will see later, in this particular case, it doesn't work like that. Whatever is sent to the loop has the same level as the main output. This chorus pedal has no problems with high input levels, and if we try it after the preamp, you'll hear no difference. The actual difference between the sound and the main output is that the presence control is placed after the effects loop, which means it only has influence on main and phone's outputs. Check this out. Now it's time to tell you about an undocumented feature that has dramatically changed my perspective on this device. I had no idea about this until I've got a little hint from the manufacturer. The trick is that you can connect a guitar cabinet to the phone's output, and it is actually powerful enough to drive it. Let's check it out.
I am now talking to you through this room microphone to give you a better feeling about how loud it gets. Let's check it out.
Normally, it's not easy to impress me, but I was absolutely blown away by this. It's a perfect solution for practicing at home without disturbing anyone. As always, I wanted to check if the pedal gets any close to the amp it was inspired by. And my friends at Just Music Store in Berlin, Germany were very kind to provide this orange Reverb for this demonstration. Reverb and British Citrus are indeed very different devices. They are not meant to be the same. We're just trying to figure out if it is possible to get that orange vibe out of BC-5. My guitar is plugged into a splitter which is connected to both Orange and BC-5. The main output of Yerasov and the effects loop sound of Reverb go into the AB switch. Orange on channel A, Yerasov on channel B. It literally took me less than a minute to make them sound this close to each other. Notice that Orange has a bigger low end and its bass knob is set to a lower value to compensate that. Let's check low gain settings. Orange also has more gain. At its maximum you'll hear a little bit of fuzziness coming from Reverb, while British Citrus sounds more transparent and clean. I'll turn down the gain on the amp to make them sound closer. I know some of you are waiting for this, let's cut some mids and try to play some evil shit. Here's a recap. We have 2-channel preamp with effects loop and cabinet simulation. It's a little bigger and heavier than a regular pedal, but that's okay, considering you would normally need 2 or 3 pedals to cover all these features. It needs a standard 9V power supply, but a couple of times by accident I used it with 12V adapter, and it worked just fine. Talking about pros and cons, separate tone controls for both channels are definitely a plus. You can use it with headphones or even with a cabinet and it gets pretty loud. Another trick I didn't mention before, you can use it as a tiny power amp. Plug your external device, another preamp or effect processor into return, and connect a cabinet to the phone's output and you're good to go. Connecting a cabinet simulator to a real cabinet seems like a strange thing to do, but it sounds okay, in this case at least. I couldn't find many cons. It cannot run on a battery, which isn't a very tragic thing, I guess. And from what I've heard, those shaky pots are already taken care of. Well, that's it for today. Let me know what you think about this device in the comments below. Subscribe if you still haven't. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.